Jehovah God sees everything. Hello, perceptive reader. Today I want to talk about your faith. Your faith, not only in God, but this may sound a little bit strange on the earth, but I still mean it. And your faith in the justice system. Now, this is what I mean by justice system. I mean the whole spiritual realm of the justice system. This is what I mean. God actually had clearly laid out in the book of Leviticus, and also, other sections of Moses' writings that showed clearly how you supposed to handle such matters, matters where uh, crimes and everything were committed. Now, no matter what, though, this is what you have to really keep in mind, and this is where your faith in God does come in as well, because one, you're not supposed to make some type of frivolous charge against anyone. One time it was even specified even against an older man. Okay. Now, here it is. The charge that is made against a person, it is supposed to have 2 or 3 witnesses. You see, period. 2 or 3 witnesses, period. Now, with Matthew chapter 5, you see, and Matthew chapter 18, that normally can actually still resolve situations where there is only one witness. You see what I'm saying? Because when Jesus talked about in Matthew chapter 5 about if someone you may have offended or what have you, no joke, even though he's even putting it on there, the responsibility on the person who did the offending, it still doesn't mean that the person who was offended can't actually enact Matthew chapter 5 as well and just say, look, this is the way I feel. This is what you did. You robbed, stole, or whatever it may be. Okay. Now, and remember, Matthew chapter 5 just talk about offenses, period. If it's serious enough where it's bothering your soul or your conscience, then that's what you can say or do, you see. But see, that this is the whole point. Remember, a lot of people have disagreement with one another all the time now, don't they? And so the whole point is, by even being able to take that step, then normally if it was some type of crime or some type of offense, where some people say, well, look, I want restitution or what have you, then if you're dealing with an honest person, okay, then the person may go ahead and say, okay, all right, well, I stole this from you or that or what have you. So it's like it can be done on that level. Now, there are other offenses, as you know, that really can get quite serious. And even though it is a serious offense, see that principle where you must have 2 or 3 witnesses, you see, to even make some type of accusation or charge, that is important. That is important. And the thing about it is this. And I told you, Matthew chapter 18 can play a role in helping with that as well. But see, what I'm stating to you are the facts is somebody can be hurt by another individual. But the way God laid out for us imperfect humans who don't see everything, who can't read the hearts and things of that nature, then what God is saying is for the stuff or for the matters and even serious matters that you see can't resolve or can't deal with because you don't have the power that he has. Let me speak as God. you don't have the power that I have or authority, then it has to stay right there. Okay. And then God will still take care of the rest. What do I mean by that? If someone has done something of offense on such a serious nature, you see, God, He will take care of it in His way. In His time. And let me tell you, when I say in His way, I'm going to tell you something uh, um, to keep in mind. You know, there's been some persons that, it was something about, I heard somebody talking about a polygraph test here recently, and I'm just telling you again, there's so many factors anymore with people, issues going on. And yes, I'm just telling you, do you know what I mean when I say issues and everything else is going on? That, I mean, you can't even count on polygraphs 100%. You really can't. And so the whole point is, there are some persons, I told you, with sound minds. You see what I'm saying? Sound minds and reasoning that just had a reputation that if they were involved with questioning here and there, even people who were planning on lying, but by the time God's Spirit hit them in such a way, they were confessing and telling everything. So what am I telling you? See, that was God's doing. And so when persons sometimes anymore today, I told you, I see this a lot. You can just have a person make a charge about anybody, about anything. I mean, anybody about anything. And depending on their background, you see, their reputation or culture or what have you, everybody just jumps on it. I mean, with no mercy, don't even give the person who was charged this or that, you see, not even a chance to rebuttal, if you will, or make a reply, or even just saying, what? No, whether they're guilty or innocent, they don't do it. They just go quick to judgment. And see, and the thing about it is this, as I told you before, uh, such matters are supposed to be left in God's hands. Now, let me finish telling you. See, there are some persons who had such a, I'm going to say, in a good way, reputation for getting to the bottom of what the situation was in this or that, okay? That then some of the person's own enemies got to the point where they didn't even want this person able to respond or get involved in certain situations anymore. Why? Because they really didn't want the truth coming out in the first place of this situation or that situation. They would rather have kept for the record that this is what was said and done about this person, and that person wasn't even nowhere around this situation or that situation. That's a fact. That has happened to so many persons. So I give you that example that's one reasons why we just have to follow those type of guidelines. And there are examples in the Bible, I'm telling you, when a person actually lies against some type of serious offense or what have you, that someone that has accused them of, and they're actually guilty of it, and they lie about it. You see what I'm saying? Then guess what? God has that. He really does has that in heaven. I cannot make light of that at all, because there are examples in the Bible where God had gotten tired of this situation or that person, and guess what? Yeah, they lost their life for the lying of the situation, and also for the offense that they had did or caused, which was so bad. So there are still situations that we have today that people of faith realize we just have to rely on that, because, you know, otherwise it's just he says, she says, or he says, he says, or she says, she says. You have so many situations like that. And but it's such a shame, because sometimes there are just accusations made anyway. So that because once the accusation is made, you see, whether it's true or not, it can still have the same amount of damage done to this person's life. And guess what else? Their family. Their family as well. So we need to just continue to handle matters as far as what we know as limited humans. Now, I see I'm talking about as limited humans, but I do want to say again that, you know, there's a lot going on today, and I don't believe in doing stuff according to this way of thinking either. See, sometimes it's like uh, you may offend somebody in one way in another area, but yet then they want to try to cause havoc in your life in another area when when the two shouldn't even be connected. See, those type of things happen as well, and it's a shame. That's why I said again, whatever the offense is, you address for that offense, and the point is, if there's not enough evidence, or if there is not really, anything that can go beyond what even I would say God's word say, then you don't start trying to concoct a ruse or a crime or a frame up just because it's like, well, we couldn't get the person for this, so let's try to get the person for that. No, and that's what I continue to mention. So all the same, the confidence and faith that we can really have in God is this. I told you. If persons are doing real bad or have done real bad or what have you, God knows the whole situation and even heart of the person who caused the offense and the person who was offended. And he handles certain things in ways, and I can assure you, I've seen this. He's handled certain things and matters in ways at times where I told you some human beings will just be jumping for joy, because God certainly understood the just whole situation and the dichotomy of it all. And then there were some situations where it's almost like you can see why God handled it this way or that way as well. But I tell you what, you have to be very balanced, sane-minded, and being able to handle such cases, and not throwing the book at this person or that person just because of public opinion. Take care of yourself, the reader.